The human ship Aurora glided silently through the greenish clouds of Arendor's atmosphere. Captain Elias Kane stood on the bridge, staring through the viewports at the alien world below. It was breathtaking. Mountains that glowed faintly with bioluminescent plants, rivers that shimmered like liquid glass, and vast forests that stretched farther than the eye could see. For a man used to space travel, the sheer beauty of a living world like this still took his breath away. "Captain," said Lieutenant Mara, "Elias is second in command. Our scans indicate that the planet is safe for landing. The atmosphere is breathable with minimal filtration." Elias nodded. "Good, let's keep it that way. I want our first impression to be friendly. We don't know much about the locals yet, but we do know they are intelligent." The Aurora descended slowly to a flat, open plain where a group of tall, elegant beings awaited. They had slender bodies, slightly elongated limbs, and skin that shimmered in soft shades of lavender. Their faces were delicate and symmetrical, but their eyes were larger than human eyes, glowing faintly with an inner light. At the center of the group stood a woman whose presence seemed to command the attention of everyone around her. Elias's eyes met hers for a moment, and he felt an unexpected pull of curiosity. She moved gracefully, almost floating as she walked, and her gaze was steady, intelligent, and confident. She was the picture of authority and elegance. The alien leader, Princess Liara, as they would soon learn, approached the humans. She stopped a few meters away from Elias and inclined her head slightly in greeting. "Welcome, humans," she said in a voice that was melodic and calm. The translator devices in the humans' ears worked perfectly, carrying every word with clarity. "I am Liara of the ruling council. Your arrival is observed with interest. You have traveled far to reach Arendor." Elias bowed slightly, mindful of etiquette. "I am Captain Elias Kane of the human vessel Aurora. We come in peace and with respect for your civilization." Liara's eyes studied him, and Elias felt for the first time that he was being truly understood by someone not human. There was curiosity there, but also something deeper, an interest he could not yet name. Over the next few hours, the humans and aliens engaged in formal introductions. Liara guided Elias and his team through the ceremonial grounds, explaining the history and customs of her people. Despite the careful attention to protocol, Elias noticed small things, gestures, expressions, and subtle changes in tone that made Liara seem approachable and kind, not just formal. At one point, she led Elias to a terrace overlooking a valley where the local wildlife gathered. Creatures with translucent wings fluttered between glowing plants while others moved silently on the ground, their scales catching the light. Elias marveled at the creatures, but he could not stop stealing glances at Liara, noticing how her hair glimmered in the sunlight and how her eyes reflected the colors of the valley below. "You seem to enjoy observing the world closely," she said softly. "As if reading his thoughts." "I do," Elias replied. "Every world has its own story, its own rhythm. I want to understand it, to learn it, not just see it." Liara tilted her head slightly, intrigued. "A human who listens. That is unusual. Most visitors only wish to take or to study, not to understand." They spent the day together exploring a series of crystal-clear streams and natural formations. Elias shared stories of Earth, of the oceans, forests, and deserts, and Liara described her people's history, their struggles, and their triumphs. As they walked, their conversation became less formal, more personal. Elias discovered Liara's sharp mind and gentle humor, and Liara found herself amused by his perspective, so different from anyone she had met. By late afternoon, the human team set up a temporary base near the landing site. Liara invited Elias to a quieter part of the city where fewer eyes observed them. "This place," she said, gesturing to a balcony overlooking a flowering grove, "is where I come when I wish to think. It is peaceful here, away from the expectations of my family and council." Elias nodded, sensing her desire for honesty. "It's beautiful. And quiet. You must value that very much," Liara smiled faintly. "I do. And yet I find my thoughts today distracted." She looked at him, her gaze steady. "You have done nothing but speak kindly, and yet I cannot ignore your presence. There is a pull I do not understand." Elias felt his heart quicken. He had faced dangerous alien species, hostile situations, and impossible odds. But this, the unexpected attention of an intelligent, powerful being, made him feel strangely vulnerable. "Liara," he said carefully, I am honored by your words. But you must know that humans and your people, we are very different. There may be things you do not understand about us, just as we do not understand all of you. She nodded, her expression thoughtful. I understand, and yet, I wish to know more. Not only about your people, but about you. As evening fell, the sky above the city turned a deep violet, and bioluminescent plants began to glow, casting soft light on the terraces and walkways. The city itself seemed alive, moving in harmony with the land. Elias and Liara stood side by side, watching the scene in silence. Suddenly, alarms echoed across the city. A tremor shook the ground, followed by a distant roar. From the valley below, a massive swarm of energy-charged creatures, native to Arendor, normally peaceful, had been disturbed and was now moving toward the city. Captain Kane, Liara said urgently. They are approaching. If they reach the city, many will be hurt. Elias did not hesitate. We need to create a barrier to slow them down. Lieutenant Mara, deploy the energy shields along the outer perimeter. Liara, can your people assist with containment? Liara nodded and sent a wave of her hand, activating a series of energy channels that began to divert the creatures. Elias coordinated with his team, combining human technology with alien energy manipulation. Together they formed a temporary but effective barrier, slowing the swarm's advance. Despite the chaos, Elias noticed Liara moving calmly, issuing precise commands and guiding the defenders. He realized that her power was not just ceremonial, it was real, and she wielded it with skill and intelligence. After several tense minutes, the swarm was safely diverted into an open canyon where it could not harm anyone. The city was safe, and the humans and aliens alike breathed sighs of relief. Liara turned to Elias, her expression softening. You risked yourself to save my people. Humans are often judged harshly by outsiders. Yet you have shown courage, wisdom, and respect. I cannot ignore this. Elias felt a mix of pride and humility. I did what anyone should do when lives are at risk. But thank you, Liara. I respect your people as well. For a long moment they stood in silence. The tension of the crisis slowly faded, leaving only the quiet, growing connection between them. Then, in a voice that was steady but filled with emotion, Liara asked the question that surprised Elias more than any alien creature or dangerous mission ever had. What must I do? To marry you? Elias blinked, taken aback. He had expected curiosity, admiration, perhaps even friendship, but not a direct proposal of this kind. The weight of her words hung in the air, heavy with meaning and yet filled with hope. Liara met his eyes and did not flinch. She waited, not for an answer, but for a sign of his thoughts. Elias realized in that moment that this was no idle fancy. She had considered the implications, the traditions of her people, and the risks involved. Her question was real, and her intent was clear. The city around them was calm now, the stars beginning to appear in the alien sky. But for Elias, everything else faded. He saw Liara not as a princess or a symbol, but as a person, strong, intelligent, and courageous, just like him. And for the first time he felt that perhaps humans were not so different from this alien civilization after all. Liara, he said slowly, choosing his words carefully. This is unexpected, but I promise you if we are to consider this, we must do it with understanding and respect for both our people. I want to know your world, your life, and your heart. Only then can we speak of marriage. Liara's lips curved into a small, hopeful smile. Then you will learn, Captain Kane. And perhaps, in time, you will feel as I do. Elias nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility and the spark of something new. For now their bond was fragile, uncertain, and untested, but it was real. As night fell over Arendor, Elias and Liara stood together on the balcony, two beings from different worlds, connected by courage, curiosity, and the quiet, growing promise of something extraordinary. Somewhere in the distance, the city's lights shimmered like stars on the ground, and Elias thought he had never seen anything more beautiful. Not the planet, not the creatures, not even the humans he had left behind. The beauty, he realized, was standing right beside him, and in that moment he understood that this encounter was only the beginning of a journey that would test not just courage, but the human spirit itself. The morning light on Arendor was soft and golden, spilling over the alien city and casting long shadows across the glowing terraces. Captain Elias Kane awoke in the temporary quarters provided for him and his crew, but his thoughts were not on rest or breakfast. They were on Liara, Her question from the night before, "What must I do to marry you?" echoed in his mind. He knew that the path ahead would not be simple. Arendor was a civilization steeped in tradition, and a human-alien union was unprecedented. Yet as he gazed out at the vibrant landscape, he felt a deep certainty. He wanted to understand her, and he wanted to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Meanwhile, Liara walked through the council halls, her posture straight and her mind determined. Her family, advisors, and other council members were aware of her unusual attachment to the human captain. Whispers followed her, some filled with admiration, others with suspicion and disapproval. She ignored them all, focusing instead on her decision. If she wanted to marry Elias, she would have to demonstrate not only her commitment but also the value humans could bring to their society. The first challenge came sooner than expected. A delegation of high-ranking council members summoned Liara. They questioned her about the human presence, expressing concerns over cultural contamination, the unpredictability of human behavior, and the risks of forming too close a bond with an alien species. "You must understand," one elder said, his voice stern. "Our traditions exist for a reason. Our people have lived in harmony for centuries. Introducing humans into our society without caution could be dangerous." Liara met their gaze, unwavering. "I understand your concerns," she replied, "but Captain Kane has shown courage, respect, and wisdom beyond what many outsiders could offer. His presence here is not a threat, it is a bridge. I wish to explore that bridge, not destroy it." The council members exchanged uneasy glances. Liara's words were bold, even by their standards, but her authority and clarity could not be ignored. Still, they insisted that any union would require proof that Elias was worthy, that humans could coexist with Arendor, and that their bond was not born merely of fascination or novelty. Elias received word of the council's demand shortly afterward. Though he was uneasy about being tested, he did not hesitate. He believed that true worth was shown in action, not words. He and his team worked alongside Liara's people to prepare for a series of trials, designed to demonstrate courage, intelligence, and adaptability. The first trial tested physical skill and leadership. A simulation of a natural disaster was created, replicating the energy surges and tremors that occasionally shook the planet. Elias directed human and alien teams simultaneously, coordinating rescue efforts, deploying barriers, and ensuring that no one was injured. His calmness under pressure and ability to strategize impressed not only Liara, but also the skeptical council members observing from above. The second trial was a test of intellect. Liara presented Elias with a complex puzzle involving energy manipulation and ancient Arendorian technology. Many humans would have struggled, but Elias's logical thinking, adaptability, and respect for the alien systems allowed him to solve the puzzle efficiently. He did not attempt to bypass the rules or force the technology. Instead, he listened, observed, and learned. By the end of the day, even the council elders had to admit that Elias was remarkable. Still, the final trial would test the most vital quality: heart. Late in the evening, Liara brought Elias to the outskirts of the city, where a series of biodomes housed the planet's rarest creatures. One of the creatures, a gentle but massive predator, had become agitated due to a minor disturbance in its environment. Liara explained that the creature could be calmed, but only by someone who could understand its nature without aggression. Elias approached slowly, speaking softly, not to it but to the natural rhythm of the creature. He observed its breathing, mirrored its movements carefully, and waited for it to recognize him as a presence of peace. Minutes passed. Then, almost imperceptibly, the creature relaxed. It stepped closer to Elias, nuzzled his hand, and returned to calmness. Liara watched silently, her eyes shining. "You see," she said softly, "it is not strength or speed alone that earns respect. It is understanding, compassion, courage tempered with care." The trials completed, Elias and Liara returned to the city. Word spread quickly. The human had proven himself not only capable but worthy. The council, though still cautious, could not deny the bond that had formed between the two. Yet challenges remained. Outside the trials, a faction of citizens opposed the idea of interspecies marriage, fearing loss of tradition. To confront this, Liara proposed a public demonstration of unity. She invited Elias to lead a mission to repair a critical energy conduit that had begun malfunctioning on the edge of the city. It was a risky task requiring human ingenuity and alien cooperation. Elias accepted without hesitation. Together, human and alien teams worked in harmony, blending technology, strategy, and courage. When the conduit was restored, energy flowed smoothly again, lighting the city brighter than it had ever been. The citizens witnessed firsthand how humans and aliens could cooperate for the greater good. Liara stood beside Elias as the city celebrated the successful restoration. She felt a surge of pride, not only for her people and their resilience, but for the human who had proven that courage, compassion, and intelligence were universal values. The final step came quietly. Liara asked Elias to meet her in a secluded garden, a place of beauty and calm where few eyes would intrude. She looked at him, her expression serene but full of emotion. "Elias," she began, "you have faced every trial not for yourself but for others. You have shown respect for my people, for my world, and for me. That is why I ask again, will you marry me?" Elias took a deep breath. He remembered the long journey to this planet, the dangers they had faced, and the quiet moments of connection that had grown into something profound. He thought of Liara's courage, her wisdom, and her unwavering honesty. "Yes," he said, his voice steady. "I will marry you, Liara, but not just because of the trials or the council's approval. I will marry you because I respect you, because I want to share this life with you, and because I believe that together we can create something stronger than either of our worlds alone." Liara's eyes lit with joy. She stepped forward and took his hand. "Then we will face the future together, side by side." The council formally recognized their union in a ceremony that blended human simplicity with Arendorian tradition. Citizens who had been skeptical watched as Elias and Liara exchanged symbols of commitment, demonstrating that love, respect, and shared values could overcome even the most ingrained fears. As the sun set on Arendor, Elias and Liara stood atop a hill overlooking the city. The lights below shimmered like stars, and the night sky above revealed distant galaxies. They spoke quietly, planning missions to explore new worlds, share knowledge, and build bridges between humans and aliens. Liara rested her hand on Elias's arm. "We have faced so much already, and yet this is only the beginning." Elias nodded, feeling the truth of her words. "Together we can face anything. Your people, my crew, and all the worlds we touch. They will see what humans are capable of, not just strength or technology, but courage, honor, and heart." And so, on a world far from Earth, two beings from different civilizations began a journey that would not only unite them but also inspire countless others. Their bond became a symbol of hope, a reminder that differences could be celebrated, and that the human spirit, guided by compassion and courage, could leave a lasting impact on the universe. In the quiet of the night, under alien stars and glowing city lights, Elias and Liara stood together. They did not know every challenge the future would hold, but they knew one thing: they would face it as one, hand in hand, heart with heart, and spirit joined across the stars. The human had come to an alien world, not as a conqueror or visitor, but as a bridge, and in doing so, he had changed everything, not just for Liara, not just for the people of Arendor, but for the possibilities of what humanity could achieve among the stars. And as the first light of dawn touched the distant mountains, Elias and Liara looked out together, ready for the adventures yet to come, their bond a testament to courage, respect, and the enduring power of connection.